for sustainable development. So by way of introduction, I'm Chukwu Nonso Ekesiobi with the Department of Economics, Chukwuemeka Chukwu University, and I'm here with Okoli Daniel, rapporteur for this session, and hopefully by the end of this session we will have gained some insights as to how gender issues and energy equity issues will help to shape the conversation we are having in this conference for the geopolitics of energy. So at the moment we have just a paper presenter with us. So I would like to invite the presenter to come and make the presentation for the team. The paper titled Electrifying Progress: Can Energy Access Illuminate Nigeria's Path to Food Security? So we'll be giving you just 10 minutes to make the presentation, and after that we can have interventions from the members of the audience. And if we are fortunate enough to have other presenters joining, we'll take their presentations as well. So I would like to invite the presenter available in the person of Mr. Precious Emmanuel with the Neva Open University, Abuja. Mr. Precious, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Emmanuel Precious, and I'm from Neva Open University, and I'm making a presentation on behalf of the team. Our focus is electrifying progress. Can energy access illuminate Nigeria's path to food security? Food security remains a very significant challenge in the developing world, Africa and at large, and Nigeria in particular. This food insecurity, being a pressing issue, it means that it affects every aspect or strands of development, moving ranging from the issue of malnutrition to health and even underweight children. So, aside the health implication, it has other social negative effects, like children going out of school, inability to develop, adequately. So it's a very serious problem. And on this, not just the food security, this food security challenge is compounded with other issues like energy, because energy is central to every man activity, production, from production, distribution, even to the level of consumption. So energy is important. So in this part of the world, Nigeria, the energy poverty, compound the issue of energy security, because when there is access to energy, it can aid in the production of agricultural products that will drive food security. With the energy poverty, we have limited productivity. Food storage become issue, even the distribution channel become issue. It's the process of preserving food from one location to another become very problematic, because there is no power for preservation and processing of the food. At the end of the day, you find out that we have wastage in the production processes before getting to the final stage of consumption. So we see that within the ladder of production, within the ladder of food production, energy is important. So if we can have access to energy, it means that some of the wastage, post-harvest wastage that we have in the agricultural sector can reduce and drive food availability. However, while this is conceptually right, we are not sure whether we are not certain on the extent to which energy access or energy availability can drive food security. So that's why we are motivated to conduct this study to guide empirical policy to drive food security via energy channel. Next slide, please. So, to disaggregate our study, we have some specific objectives that we want to achieve. We want to find out the nexus between energy access and food security in Nigeria. Then we want to look at energy pricing and food security in Nigeria. And we also want to look at energy intensity and the level of security outcomes in Nigeria. Next, please. While we have reviewed several literature about the clear gap that no prior study or a very scanty study in the context of Nigeria that has looked at intensively, the link between energy access, the intensity and pricing of food security. So we also bringing in novelty. We look at monthly data in this study to give us enough time to see how the trend has been over time. Next slide, please. So I will not bore ourselves with the theoretical framework. We have a theoretical framework which is leaned on the capability approach. Capability approach. Next slide, please. So like I said earlier, we used multi-time series data for this study, which between 2015 to 2022, about 96 observations. So that's a very lengthy data. So these are the variables, and we apply the time series econometrics techniques. But as a way of innovation, we did what is called a stepwise regression. A stepwise regression helps us to capture the key important drivers of our variables, in the model, so that we can know which factor that are important, vis-a-vis food security and energy issue in Nigeria. Result, please. Yes, we have key pertinent findings that shape our study. First, we discovered that energy access positively influence food security. So it's a framed with conceptual argument that higher access could lead to better, will lead to increase in food production, because once there is energy, it means that farmers can preserve, and not just the farmers, the cottage industries in the agribusiness can rise to process the harvest from the farm, and then we can have that can lead to preservation of food, which will drive food availability and security. Then on the other hand, we discovered that energy prices has a negative impact on food security. Yes, and this is the situation which is the outcome of the finding resonates with reality. We understand that at the higher energy prices, production cost rises, and that will affect productivity, which what we saw sharply between with the introduction of the subsidy regime and changes in oil prices in the global market. So as the prices of energy rises, we see that production costs, even transportation costs, will become very expensive, and that will affect the outcome of food production. So the findings resonate with reality. We have the energy intensity negatively affects food security. So here, the energy intensity, it tells us how much of energy is used in the production of output of commodity. In this case, inefficiency in energy practices, which what we experience in Nigeria with the use of fossil and with the use of fossil fuel related, the inefficient use increase cost because more energy will be used to produce less output, which our findings also resonate with. Our control variables are significant. Agricultural productivity is very relevant to food security. And then we have exchange rate, which because we are open economy, we see that exchange rates, depreciation and inflation both reduce food affordability in Nigeria. So with these findings, we we offer some pertinent policy insight. Business line. Okay, I have discussed the results. Next slide. We have pertinent policy insights. Having seen that energy access is critical, first we recommend the expansion of renewable and grid-based energy access, especially in rural areas where rural agricultural activities take the most shape. We understand that agricultural practices thrive in rural areas in Nigeria. Yeah, but these people lack access to it. That's where energy crisis is more worrisome. So we are recommending that the government, the Energy Commission in particular, the ongoing project, the ongoing rural electrification agency should deepen grid-based energy access at the rural level to enhance energy access. So that will not just accelerate or stimulate the local economy, it will also drive food security. Yeah. Then we also look at budgeted price subsidies. Yeah, we cannot rule out subsidies in terms of driving them. In this case now, we are arguing for grid-based subsidies in these rural areas because sometimes when the rural grid is available, affordability becomes an issue in the rural area for mini grids. So we are also recommending that there should be a kind of the subsidy would be expanded renewable energy grid, basically a subsidy for purchase because it's always expensive in the rural setting. So we also look at, we also recommend that there should be promotion of energy technology practices across. That is industry level recommendation. So as businesses, as organization adopting energy, in the food chain, they should adopt energy efficient practices to ensure that energy becomes efficient in its use to yield maximum output. Okay, and then lastly is development of integrated energy food framework. So we cannot rule energy out of food security framework in Africa and Nigeria in particular. So our study informed this policy that there should be an integrated energy policy framework to guide excessive to drive food availability in Nigeria. And it is important that we will not rule out the issue of public-private partnership because the private sector are key. The government cannot handle everything. The private sector are key in terms of driving even renewable energy grids through the Energy Commission framework, where private sector can now come into the grid, into the renewable energy grid market. So it is very important as well. And we conclude our study reiterating the fact that energy is very important in the food nexus, in the food production chain to drive availability and security. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being very efficient with time while preaching energy efficiency. So I really was very intrigued when you were making some point about energy poverty, energy security. how it can rub off on food security as well. So, in the course of the study, let me go to the econometrics first. You mentioned something about using stepwise regression. Maybe you may need to re-echo it again, and why. And secondly, how does this study fit into the conversation about energy being an integral part of the food production value chain? So, how does this study come in to say, maybe to provide, like you said, policy insights as to how using findings from it can illuminate the process of what is food security? Yeah. So thank you very much.
Should I take all the questions?
Well, I don't know if we also have other interventions aside that you can just tell us something, and maybe we take the conversation further before it's time for us to leave. So any other comments? Okay.
All right, good day everyone. My question is I'm interested in knowing how you're able to measure food security. Also, I'd like to know what other variables you included in your model as well. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions. Okay, I will begin with the first one from the chairman. The study applies the stepwise regression for the study. Stepwise regression simply means adding up, building the model by adding up most important variables that are important to the target variable. Here, our target variable is food security, and then all other variables that were introduced into the model is in a stepwise process, meaning that we're adding important variables. Important is not just like important, we have statistical criteria for that. I know we use our p-values, in econometrics. There's a level of significance to know which one is significant or not. So the ones that are important are those ones that are significant, which usually at 5%, critical region. And those ones that are not significant means that they are not really relevant. And this is very important to ensure that we have a model that is not overburdened. To have a reliable model. Yes. So that's why the stepwise regression is important in this case, because there could be several factors that may, but not very important to food security. Thank you, sir. So in the discourse, in driving food security, the second question, sir, in driving food security, energy is very key, and our study has shown that it's very, very key. In that, energy is central in the production process and even at the distribution process. So when energy is available, it means that it will enhance the production. So, and more production means more output, and more output means more availability, and more availability means higher accessibility. And in fact, so in the other aspect of it, which is the transport, the distribution channel, which is the transportation and the pre-processing, with energy, distribution is easier through vehicular channels and all of that. So it will also enhance distribution from the areas that are surplus scarce areas, which will also facilitate availability and drive security. Yes, sir. Then your question in terms of okay, the variable, please go to my methodology slide. Okay, here, food security is actually measured with food availability, right? Food availability, which is available at WDI, yes. Food availability. Then here we have our other variables, energy access, captured with electricity access to top up as the percentage to top population. Our energy price, which is available crude oil price. The energy intensity is computed, which is total energy consumption divided by GDP per capita, which measures the level of outputs which energy can generate intensity. Then income, GDP per capita, then inflation, exchange rates. Those are the variables. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please, another round of applause for him, please. Yes. While we await other presenters, I think that it's necessary to emphasize that the conversation in this conference cuts across not just what is happening in the geopolitics of the global energy space and the shifts that are going on, caused by various exogenous factors, but how, I think the missing link now is how do these shocks and these shifts, how they affect developing economies. And energy security, as far as the developing countries are concerned, especially what we are having here, is a very key issue. So it is good that as we live here, we should have, targets that will try to implement to get our own energy space back in focus, back in shape. And we'll be having plenaries after this session. So we should try our best possible to attend the plenaries and make contributions where necessary. So on that note, I would urge us to just hang on a minute for some time. We are supposed to end this session by 10:30. So if along the line we get other presenters, we can have them make their presentations as well. So I'd like us to stay tuned. Thank you very much.